Hey everyone, how's it going? Decius here with another piece of content for y'all. We're going to be playing some Project 1999 once again. I am currently on my level 8 druid named Verizal in the cozy misty thicket. It was just raining. The rain stopped, so it's going to be a bright and beautiful day in Misty Thicket. Bright green sky. And there's this other halfling fellow that I'm just healing because I'm a druid. It's about helping others, bringing others up. And I don't want him waiting around all day to just heal up because he's probably a warrior or something. So with that in mind, we are gonna kill some guys. And I have this guy, I wouldn't say really twinked out, but he's got a few nice pieces of armor. Should probably give myself a buff. Let's see here. I have the Ixar Berserker Club, very good damage delay. Got some wisdom on there as well, which is perfect for a druid. I have just the Spore Strand Shield, just some good mana, some good wisdom, few AC points. And I remember when I made this character, a guy ran up to me and just gave me this, the Idol of Woven Grass, a neck or a secondary item, which is kind of unique. And it has 10 mana, 2 wisdom, 2 stamina is pretty good too for my health. And then everything besides that's mostly just regular leather stuff. I think I do have a couple like split paw items that I gave myself, but I mean, that's pretty much no better than your everyday run-of-the-mill patchwork armor. So let's take some critters out. So I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I am for sure. I graduated college last weekend, so I'm a free man, and now I have some time to spend. And what better time than killing some snakes in Misty Thicket? God, this guy's kind of kicking my ass. I forgot that the snakes give venom, so that isn't much appreciated. I'm actually going to turn the game volume down slightly because it's a little bit loud. Okay. Gotta watch out for the undead guys. Now they like to roam around here. Ooh, I could get this guy. I gotta heal up though. But in my previous video, I made a video about the Project Lazarus server, which is another emulated server like Project 1999, except the fact that it goes up to the Omens of War expansion, which introduced the Epic 2.0s and the max levels 70. So the gameplay is a lot different than Project 1999 because it's not a classic server, but also the fact that there is the 6-box aspect of the server as well, which is pretty much the polar opposite of everything that P99 stands for. And I honestly, I really like that there's just so many ways of playing this game and just polar opposites in terms of, the values of what you get out of the game as well, because I mean, for P99, there's no boxing allowed. It's strictly classic. There's no, it's not designed to be an easy game. And there's a lot of value that is derived from that gaming experience that we just don't see enough of in modern gaming. And I do want to make a video focused on that topic in a little bit more depth, maybe like a video essay style video. But I want to talk about how game mechanics and just the philosophy of games that are created in this modern era do not have the aspects that older games like Everquest have. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that on just a gameplay standpoint, but it's when you start comparing between the two and seeing that the differences present in these games really change your behavior and the way you interface with games. It really puts into perspective maybe that... Uh-oh, that's not good. I gotta run. Maybe that we are missing out on a greater experience gameplay-wise. I'm glad he cast a spell, so now there's a little extra distance between me and him. Oh, I'm dead. Rest in peace, Verzal. Whoa, is that like a Taco Bell sound effect for dying? What is that? Is that from the game? From dying? This is really strange. I mean, I never play with sound on, so I guess that makes sense why I never heard that sound before. But anyway, just for P99 in and of itself, and also kind of translating that with the way our culture works as well. In P99, there's no maps. So you have to use either external resources to find a way to navigate, or you have to try to memorize the layout of the land and key landmarks and using these visual cues as reference points to indicate where you're located. And I think with that, it really changes the way we interface with the game itself, and it really adds a lot of immersion as well. Like on my druid right now in Misty Thicket, I mean, it's P99, I don't have a map. I have to kind of understand where these landmarks are located, or I'll have to look up the P99 wiki and look at the map and then try to translate that to the video game landscape. And I think that just adds so much agency to the gaming experience. Alright, now I gotta find my corpse. That's a whole nother part of the game. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here because the majority of people that I assume who watch these videos are people who play Everquest or classic Everquest themselves, so you most likely already have an understanding of this. But I think it's important to continually recognize that because I think it's a special thing in older MMOs and older games in general, just the retro style game experience. How we can actually develop our skills through these older games rather than dull and hinder them, which I think is very present in newer games that tend to be more gentle with the player and not really giving the player a challenging experience so that they aren't scared off from not playing the game again. And I think a prime example of this, and I will make a video going more in depth on this, is Fortnite. You know, Fortnite is a very, very large, it's one of the largest games out there. Everyone has heard of the game because it's so popular. A big component of that game is, I gotta mend my spells, are the bots, and the microtransactions that are tied with the game are the sole revenue that the developers and the publisher earns from the game itself, since it's a free-to-play game. But in order to get these players to actually spend money on the game, you usually spend money on a game that you feel you are successful in, because it's somewhat of an investment and you want that investment to pay off, and you don't want to feel like your money is being wasted on something that you don't think will have a positive or a evident change in your day-to-day life of playing the game, let's say. And a big thing that Fortnite does is it adds bots throughout the matches that are very simple, and like say you're playing Call of Duty and you're playing against recruit bots. It's similar to that concept. and it allows players, typically, most likely, like younger players who maybe don't have the, I don't know, experience in first persons or reflex shooters, and maybe have some discretionary income tied from their parents or even adults with discretionary income. And you feel good when you are successful in Fortnite. It's a competitive game, and there's a lot of validation stemmed from that competition because you're playing against supposedly 99 real people in an arena. And when you win in that arena, it's human nature to feel proud and feel very accomplished that you really did something. And the developers recognize that because that feeling is a very primal, important feeling, and the game is able to hijack that part of your brain. And pushing that feeling as much as possible on as many players as possible is directly correlated with their profit margins, because I don't have the statistics with me, but I would assume that the more successful you are in a game, the more you are accomplishing, the more money you're going to spend on it because it's more valuable to you because of the feelings derived from it. And it just makes sense that the developers would take advantage of that and make the game easier for people to accomplish that feeling so that you can, spend more money on it. And I think that is evident in so many other games, including MMOs nowadays. Mandadar. I mean, in World of Warcraft, there's so many microtransactions and mounts. Even in Everquest Live, there's so many microtransactions in the marketplace and XP pots you can buy, and you name it. There's anything that gives you some sort of a boon or advantage has become a monetized facet of the gaming industry. And I think that stems from an oversaturation in the market, and it's a more mature market now compared to how it was when it was in its primal days, like in Everquest in its infancy, when there wasn't really a status quo for these genre of games. And I think it's just the reason I'm babbling on about this kind of stuff is that I think it's important to recognize the games we play and what we get out of it, and if there are components of the game that attempt to take advantage of us, to at least be aware of that, even if we're still having fun. Games are meant to be played to have fun, and I think that EverQuest, especially Project 1999, is a game that is designed with the general focus of just having fun, and you can tell that there was a lot of love put into this game in the development that wasn't stemmed out of a desire for profit, but mostly just for world building and for just experiencing a different virtual realm that isn't made to just get from A to B and be convenient and reward you for anything you do. It's pretty much what you put into it is what you get out of it. And I like that for how I interface with video games. I think that's important for me. And especially growing up with EverQuest, I think it really developed my literacy skills and being able to communicate with people and set my mind on tasks and goals and accomplishing them, like the epic quests and just any other quest, because in EverQuest it doesn't necessarily hold your hand with each step of the quest as well. Things aren't explicitly labeled from A to B. You kind of have to figure it out and use other resources to follow along with those quests and to have your own conscious awareness of what step you even are on the quest, because some of them are very convoluted and have lots of steps that could take months to accomplish. And yeah, I just think that's just an important aspect of why I enjoy games, and I would think that, you know, if you're watching this video and you enjoy EverQuest, especially P99 content, it's probably similar for you as well. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just running around Riverville right now, just kind of, you know. Sometimes, I think this leads to Kithakor. Where does this go? Oh no, this is just a cave. In my initial Project 1999 video I made a couple months ago, I really talked about wanting to enjoy EverQuest again in a more nuanced perspective, playing it in a way I never really played it before, because I think I really have let newer games influence how I view games like EverQuest and how I play them, in trying to achieve the best way possible and trying to turn it into a one-dimensional linear roadmap game experience, because that's what I'm used to, rather than taking the game head on and seeing all of the different variables and how you don't have to play it in a certain way. Running around in Rivervale and exploring all the nooks and crannies and looking at all of the little details that I might not have picked up on before is as just a valid experience of playing this game as the most high-end rating. And I think that's an important distinction, at least for myself, to recognize, because it's easy for me to be caught up in the competitive nature of the game and getting the best gear possible and just leveling up, getting experience, getting my stats up. That's fun for me, but I also recognize that it can hinder other avenues that the game has to offer, which I could also have as much fun in. And I think that's really why I like the MMO genre as well, because it doesn't, most of the time, at least in P99, it doesn't tell you how to play the game. Wow, these textures look really good, honestly. I'm impressed with the texture upgrade that I got. It really adds a nice stylistic upgrade to the world. But anyways, yeah, the MMOs, they don't really necessarily tell you how to play the game. And I think that's kind of, you know, real life as well. There's, you know, the main quests, the everyday paths that we're told to go on, which is, you know, education and get a job and, you know, save for retirement. Those are the main story quests that, you know, the world itself kind of puts onto us. But there's a lot of nuance within the main story quests, and I think we can learn a lot about real life from how we play MMOs as well. And I think how we play MMOs also has very large influence and maybe a direct correlation on how we live our lives as well. Because we are not so different from our characters, I don't think, in how we interact with the virtual world and how we interact with the real world. Our brains have a finite amount of pathways, and how we think about things and our biases and how we talk to people in game and what goals we want to accomplish and the feelings we derive from those accomplishments, I think are very, very, very similar to how our brains operate in real life. And that's just a whole nother topic. But anyways, I think I'm going to cut it short here. I've been babbling on for a little while, but it's been fun running through Rivervale and, you know, dying. It's kind of like it's a classic EverQuest video. It's, you know, if I don't die once, then I don't think it was really a good video. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for 400 subscribers, pushing to the 500 subscriber mark. So if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate if you liked it. If you didn't like the video, feel free to dislike it. Either way, it helps me out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I make videos like this, playing Everquest, talking about different aspects of MMOs, and I also make some music occasionally, but I think you should expect to see some different kind of content popping up on this channel, which I'm excited to make. So anyways, have a great day. Peace.